For many, the idea of living in a grand seaside mansion sounds like the ultimate dream. Panoramic views, elegant interiors, a cozy harbor town just a stroll away. It's the kind of lifestyle most people fantasize about. She spent 15 years living in what can only be described as one of the most breathtaking properties in the region. Point Neptune House, her home, is a Grade II listed building perched above the River Foy estuary. It has sweeping views of the sea, beautiful gardens, and the kind of old-world character that makes estate agents lose sleep from excitement. But in 2022, Dawn made a decision that surprised many. She sold the mansion and quietly relocated to a much more secluded part of Cornwall, settling into a smaller, more private Victorian villa nestled near the Devon-Cornwall border. So why would someone willingly leave such a luxurious home? Why trade a multi-million-pound coastal property for a quieter, less glamorous lifestyle? Let's rewind a bit. Dawn French first fell in love with Cornwall long before she became a permanent resident. Known for its rugged coastline, peaceful villages, and creative spirit, Cornwall has long been a haven for artists and writers looking to escape the chaos of city life. For Dawn, it was a place where she could disconnect, be herself, and enjoy the simplicity of daily life. In 2006, she purchased Point Neptune House and moved to Fowey full-time. At first, life there was she could go shopping in the village without much fuss. She got involved in local causes, supported charity events, and became a much-loved part of the community. In many ways, Fowey offered everything she needed: beauty, space, and a sense of belonging. But over time, things began to change. Fowey, like many parts of Cornwall, started to attract increasing numbers of visitors, especially as staycations surged in popularity. What was once a sleepy fishing town gradually turned into a hotspot for wealthy second home buyers, Instagram influencers, and holidaymakers seeking the perfect photo op. Shops began to cater more to tourists than to locals. Streets that were once quiet and intimate became crowded in the summer. And for someone like Dawn, who was always identified as an introvert, increased attention became a bit too much. In interviews, she's mentioned that while she's incredibly grateful for her fans, there's a line between appreciation and intrusion. Over the years, being approached in the street, photographed while walking her dogs, or interrupted during moments of peace became more and more common. She described a shift in Faho as the town becoming, in her words, too trendy. What had once been a sanctuary was now feeling a bit like a stage. And for someone who has spent decades in the public eye, the line between performance and privacy is sacred. So in 2022, she made a change. She sold the mansion reportedly for around £6.6 million and bought a more modest, yet still beautiful Victorian villa tucked away from the spotlight. Her new home, valued at about £1.7 million, is located in a less touristy part of Cornwall, not far from the Devon border. It's surrounded by nature, hidden from main roads, and far from the buzz of tourist hotspots. The move wasn't about money, it was about lifestyle, about peace, about protecting the quiet parts of herself that fame often threatens to steal. In her new home, Dawn has found the solitude she craved. She spends her days writing, walking her dogs, gardening, and simply enjoying the things that matter most to her. She's still active professionally, writing books, appearing on stage, and staying in touch with fans, but now she does it all on her own terms. This move speaks to a broader shift we're seeing not just among celebrities, but in society as a whole. After years of chasing bigger homes, flashier lifestyles, and constant connection, more and more people are beginning to value quiet, privacy, stillness. Even those with fame and fortune are stepping away from the noise to reconnect with themselves. Dawn's decision reflects that cultural moment. It shows us that happiness doesn't always come from more, it often comes from less. Fewer crowds, fewer obligations, fewer eyes watching your every move. And while she may have left behind a luxurious home in one of Cornwall's most famous towns, she hasn't left behind what matters. She still calls Cornwall home. She's just carved out a new version of it, one with more privacy, more peace, and more space to breathe. It's also worth noting that Dawn French's connection to Cornwall runs deeper than property lines. She's spoken passionately about her love for the Cornish landscape, its people, and its sense of calm. It's a place that nurtures creativity, and as a writer and performer, that environment fuels her work in a deeply personal way. So, no, she didn't leave Cornwall. She simply went deeper into it. She left behind the spotlight, not the soul of the place she loves. And in doing so, she reminds us that sometimes the bravest thing you can do is step away, to choose peace over popularity, stillness over spectacle, and a quiet lane over a bustling high street. For Dawn French, that choice wasn't a loss. It was a return to self, to serenity, and to the joy of being exactly where she wants to be on her own terms. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video and want more stories about the personal choices behind public lives, don't forget to like, subscribe, and let us know in the comments, what does your dream home look like? Would you trade luxury for peace and quiet?